Glyph Production Technologies. This is their Blackbox Pro RAID, 40 terabytes. Glyph did give this to me for a review, and I'm going to compare this to a couple other RAID hard drives that I use for editing documentaries, really large format documentaries, feature films like that, and see if this can hold up. But first, the box that it comes in, it does RAID 0, RAID 1, Thunderbolt 3. I have a Mac, that's what I'm going to use it for. Here are some of the accessories that it comes with. Oh, and the AC here is rubberized. It comes in a rubberized shielding. It looks like it's the same kind of rubber that comes on the drive itself. Oh, it looks like it's lockable. And then it comes with a Thunderbolt 3 cable. Pre-formatted for Mac. Looks like it's a 3-year hardware warranty, 2-year basic data recovery, 1-year overnight replacement. It does feel all metal on the outside. I'm imagining this drive will get hot, and then the rubber is going to protect, or it's going to help the heat so you can touch it. Rubberized all around. You have your display port. You have these RAID mode switches. That's interesting. It's not done in software. You switch the RAID configuration on the back with some dip switches. There's your power, and then you got 2 Thunderbolt. Here are the keys that it comes with. Let's just open this up and see what it looks like inside. Pops open, take out the drive. Just a spinning 7200 internal drive. Didn't really touch anything. I'm glad that it's so easy to remove. And place back in. This isn't my first Glyph experience. Before that, I got sent that. I had already owned this one. This is the Blackbox Pro, the non-RAID. This is just a USB 3.2. And I've had this I bought this with my own money. I've had this for over 2 years, and it's been fine. I don't edit with this because with that one USB connection, transfer read-write speed is about 260 megabytes, which for me isn't fast enough to edit with, but I have used this to archive all of my projects. This is a 12 terabyte. They also have different sizes. I got the 12 terabyte. It was decent price for what this is. And in the past 2 years, I've only had one issue where I wasn't using this for a couple months. I plugged this into my Mac and it didn't read right away. And then I had to unplug it, plug it again. I tried a different computer, then it worked fine. Besides that, this has been pretty good at archiving my projects. Now for editing my docs, I've had this drive right here. This is a OWC ThunderBay 4. This is the 4-slot version, and this runs about $1,500, around there, if you buy it with the drives. And this can do the different RAID configurations, so like RAID 5, RAID 10, and this also has the read-write speed of around 1,000 megabytes. This is Thunderbolt 3s here. You also have a display port. There's a fan here, and this does get really loud, which is the biggest drawback with this. And it's so loud that when you buy this, OWC ships it with a really long Thunderbolt cable because they are just implying that to keep this far away from your editing desk. My editing desk, this is right on my desk. So this is not the best RAID to have because of the drive noise. Take that open, and then you see the drives, which are replaceable. You can upgrade. You can store, I think, up to 80 terabytes. 80 terabytes of storage in here. Right now, I have 24 terabytes loaded, but you can store up to 80 terabytes. It's crazy. I've been using the ThunderBay 4 for almost 7 years, and they still sell this product. I think it's been pretty successful for them. You have to use it with their software, which is their soft RAID. You have to pay an annual fee to use this software, which it was okay when I was using it. And another RAID system that I've used is this right here. This is the G-RAID Shuttle 4. And this comes like a stereo boombox here. It has a handle because it's so heavy and large. Here's the front here. Unlock, you don't need a key. Right there, those are the 4 hard drives that you can swap out. This can hold up to, I believe, 72 terabytes, but I got the 24 terabyte version. When I bought this one, it came with the internal drives. And then here on the back, you have Thunderbolt 3, and that has 2 right there. And there's the power button. This isn't something that you want to really travel around with. This is something you put in your workstation and you just set it and forget it. It's not as noisy as the OWC ThunderBay, but there is some noise as it's running. I've had this G-RAID for almost 5 years now. Now, I have had some issues with this G-RAID. So I have multiple computers. I have Mac Studio, which is my primary editing workstation, and I have a MacBook Pro, and I've also have a MacBook Air. When I was connected this to my Mac Studio, I've never had a read problem or it showing up on the desktop. But when I've used this on my MacBook Pro and MacBook Air, I have had issues where this was not even readable on those computers. And it didn't happen in the first couple years, but since I've had this in the past 5 years, I've had these problems, these connectivity issues. The G-RAID Shuttle has a read-write speed of around 1,000 megabytes. As long as you're using the RAID 0 configuration. If you change the different RAID setups, that goes down. So I think if you have like a RAID 5, it ends up being between 600 and 700 megabyte read speed. Now the Glyph Blackbox PRO RAID. So since this only has 2 drives in here, you can only do RAID 0 and RAID 1, and then you can do just the drives itself and span. Those are the only configurations you can do with this. So if you want redundancy, you got to go, the only option is RAID 1. And RAID 1, that's when each drive it backs each other up. So you only get, instead of the 40 terabytes here, you just get 20 terabytes, which is still a lot if you're not utilizing all of that space like a short film or smaller projects. I think that's fine. That's more than enough. So you do have the redundancy capabilities, but since this drive is rated for about 550 megabytes transfer speed, if you do use a RAID 1, I believe that does slow the speed down a little bit. So you're now into the moderate speed. I don't know if it cuts it in half, but it's slower than 550 megabytes, I believe. But I use this as in a RAID 0 configuration because I used to use RAID 5 to edit my projects. But now what I do is I just buy a whole other drive and I back everything up. Okay, I'm gonna transfer 1.1 terabytes onto the Glyph. Gonna be in 1 hour. Okay, I'm about 20 minutes in of copying over that 1.1 terabytes, and here's what the Glyph looks like. It's going and going. And this is what it's copying to. There's the OWC. It's not too loud. The OWC over there is louder, I can hear it, but I'm monitoring the audio levels and seeing how loud this gets. Now it's been over an hour and it's still 12 minutes, so it didn't do it in under an hour, transferring 1.1 terabytes, but that's still pretty fast. I'm doing another huge transfer. This time I'm transferring 1.67 terabytes. So now it's saying under 5 minutes, and it's been less than an hour. Before this, I transferred 1.1 terabytes, and that took a little over an hour to transfer, but 1.67, I don't know why a bigger size took shorter amount of time, but was doing that for me. And after running almost 3 terabytes in the past couple hours, this drive is still not even warm to the touch. When I was using this, I was editing a multi-cam 4K project documentary, and it handled it fine. The 550 megabyte transfer speed in a RAID 0 configuration was very smooth. I had no issues, and I love that this is pretty silent. So I think they want you to keep this on your desk because of the cable it also ships with. The cable itself is quite short. So it looks like they're expecting you to just keep this right next to your computer, and it's silent. It's been great. I don't even notice that it's there. Now, if you need a RAID 5 or RAID 10, You cannot get it with this Glyph. So that's where I'll recommend the OWC ThunderBay as a budget-friendly RAID 5 if you want to use RAID 5, or if you want just a lot more storage. This, I would go with this and just keep it away from your workstation. And the Glyph, I see really high advantages towards the editor who is traveling a lot or edits on a laptop. And this is really good for that purpose. If you move around a lot, or if you the kind of editor that hands off projects with the whole drive with all of the work to another editor or to the colorist or to different people on the post-production team, that's where I think the Glyph is pretty good. And if you're afraid about redundancy, I would just use RAID 1 so that you can always have that backup. And I think you should be fine with the speed. The big question is how long this is gonna last. If I do have a problem, I will make an update video to talk about it. But so far, I'm liking this as one of my main drives I'm gonna edit on, and also a drive that I know I could travel with if I wanted to. Okay, here's where I finally settled the Glyph. I'm gonna turn this on. It's on my desk, and I've had it for about a week now, using it almost every day, and I've had no problems with this. This has been a pretty good, solid editing hard drive.